Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. On today's short tutorial episode, I will demonstrate how to rig and fish a Neko Rig for black bass in general. So the rigging components, you will need a plastic bait of choice, an O-ring, a wacky style O-ring particularly, and a light wire wide gap finesse hook. Afterwards, you will need a nail sinker. I prefer to start off at 1/8 of an ounce, but some anglers will go directly to 1/4. First, I'll take my hook and I will tie a Palomar knot around my light wire hook. You can use any knot you like, but I just prefer a Palomar knot. Then I'll trim the tag in. Afterwards, I'll take an O-ring out. Some wacky style baits will require the use of an O-ring tool, but this plastic bait I'm using today, the Jackal Flick Shake, the Neko variety, does not require an O-ring tool. It is built with one thin side, so I could just slide the O-ring down to the collar of the plastic worm. Afterward, I will insert my nail weight of choice. I prefer to use a 1/8 ounce, but an angler can choose to go lighter or heavier based on the fishing condition. I find that 1/8 is a great starting point. Some anglers might prefer 3/16, but in my fishing situation, I prefer 1/8. Then I will insert my wide gap hook through the O-ring, just barely skin hooking, but not hooking through the plastic bait. Now I'm ready to fish. I prefer to fish this rig on a spinning rod setup. I can fish this rig either with a light action spinning rod setup all the way to a medium spinning rod action setup. It is all based on the angler preference, but it is best fished from a spinning rod. I prefer to fish a braid to fluorocarbon leader combination. Some angler will just fish this straight braid if the water is murky. I ended up getting bit, and this is not a big fish by any metric or standard, but it is a great rig to take fish from heavily pressured area where there are a lot of anglers that are often fishing like these day use area I'm fishing today. You can use any style of thin soft plastic baits or even stick baits in general. I just prefer to use this brand Jackal because I've had great luck with it. This is a smaller fish, so I'll show them to you guys real quick. The hook will just be in the corner of the mouth. I'll pop it out and I'll let him go. Thanks for playing though, dude. Off you go. So the way I fish this bait is I will just give this bait a cast. I can cast this far, or I can also sight fish with it from my experiences in the past. Then I will let the bait slowly feather down to the bottom by feathering out line. Afterwards, I'll just give it gentle shakes and pop along the bottom. Unlike the Ned rig, which can't be fished around this heavier brush, the Neko rig can actually be fished quite well around some light brush and cover. I ended up getting bit very close to this freshly submerged brush, and this is a decent little largemouth bass. This bait really excels in clean water, and it can also excel in some stained or dingy water. An angler is also not just limited to plastic worms. An angler can also use plastic craws, creatures, and many other soft plastic style baits. I just prefer to use plastic worms because around my area, a lot of my black basses, if I'm beating these day use areas, will often receive quite a bit of fishing pressure. So therefore I prefer to use a much smaller approach, give or take the water clarity. This is a very nice little largemouth bass, possibly a male moving up the stage for the spawn. I'll show him to you guys real quick before letting him go. This time of year, these fishes are so pretty. They're often plumpest and at their brightest colors. Thanks for playing, buddy. Off you go. Hopefully this answers a lot of questions that were asked about how to fish this rig or how to tie it up in general. This rig can be used to great effect from the bank or boat, or even from watercraft such as float tubes and kayaks. It is a great alternative to the Ned rig. A lot of anglers will often prefer the Ned rig, but I find that I like this Neko rig a lot much better than the Ned rig because I can present a much wider variety of baits on this particular style. Again, where it excels a lot is where there are a lot of angling pressure, in particular with these day use areas. I ended up getting bit, and as demonstrated, these day use areas will often receive a lot of fishing pressure, so therefore they'll often see an entire kitchen sink worth of lures being thrown at them, including even live bait. So the next time if you guys are in a heavily fished areas and you don't want to throw a Ned rig, try a Neko rig. It is quite effective and it is quite popular in Japan among a lot of anglers. However, it is not as popular in the United States due to the Ned rig and its intense popularity across the Midwest and the fishing tournaments in general. This is another nice little plump fish, and I'll show him to you guys before letting him go. Thanks for playing, buddy. Hopefully this tutorial helped those of you guys wondering how to rig and fish the Neko rig. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, tight lines y'all.